off now on the second part to dealing with the problems that a so-called addict faces. How to be able to help the person. The first thing that they need to know is that there is an answer, and that the person who is speaking to them about it themselves has found the answer. The answer being that there are two minds, one that causes problems, the human mind, and one that solves problems, the divine mind. That if they can recover the divine mind, there is no feelings of inadequacy, no feelings of depression, no feelings of a lack of self-confidence, no worries, no fears of running into circumstances for which they don't have answers, because that mind is the divine mind. And every single moment in our life becomes a choice of either listening to the human mind or listening to the divine mind. And so the person needs support in realizing, and that's why personal testimonies are so important. That's why as you're listening to these broadcasts, these topics that we're bringing up in Healing Aspirations, you see me talk very personally. I don't hide the fact that I suffered from anxiety. I don't hide the fact that I went into therapy looking for help, didn't find it, had to look further, and that the help only came to me when I discovered that there was a God, and it was a very personal God, and that I was one with this God, and that I had the mind of love and understanding of God, and that I was not this human mind which I could now begin to abandon. And that began, folks, when I was 53. It was only at 53 when God showed me the presence, his or her, as you experience God, showed me the presence of them with me and appeared before me. And before that, I did not have this knowledge that God was me, was in me, that the only thing that God couldn't give me was that God was the original creator. But God showed me there was a different creation and a presence of God, which was my true identity. And now I could stay in this world never worrying about whether or not I was failing, because it's not my human mind that I depend on to heal me, it's my divine mind that I depend on to heal me. And it is God who is in charge of the divine mind and delivering it to me, and waiting until I was 53 because I couldn't absorb it until then, and was willing to give up my identity as a doctor of psychology, licensed by the state of New York, in order to be thus and so. That was my sense of identity, of worth, was this professional aspect. And only at 53 did I give up all of my attempts to try to solve problems with what I knew and what I was trying to help people with, and then saw that there was a new approach to it, and that was that God and the divine mind are delivered by God, step by step, carefully, gently, increment by increment, as God opens us to receive it. There is never a mistake in the process when the person with this problem experiences the fact that God is present. It is supported by people who believe it themselves and can provide personal testimony to their coming together with God. That's why you see again in this Healing Aspirations site that I speak of the coming together with God, of how God appeared to me, and I felt this God within me, which was a peaceful feeling. Peace meaning nothing was bothering me. The divine mind, nothing is bothering it, because there are no problems. The divine mind is not of this world, and in the divine world there are no problems. And I was now able to see myself bit by bit and see others bit by bit as simply having human issues which God was showing me very, very gently in order for me to abandon them, because God had built up in me the faith to know it was better to come from that divine mind where I was getting answers from God in prayer when I was going to God, that provided me with peace, that nothing bothered me. There's nothing wrong except the fact that I had wrong beliefs about myself. Wrong beliefs about myself, which were healable by God countering these beliefs every time they appeared. So, going back again to people who are using substances to try and self-medicate themselves in order to stop these anguishing feelings. If they didn't do it, and if you don't have solutions to the unbearable feelings, as I said, there are three options. You get depressed. You're nothing. You're worthless, despicable. Everybody looks of worth, and they look at you as a piece of dirt. Or when you think that everybody looks at you as a piece of dirt, they don't love you. You can feel it. And so you get aggressive that they are the ones who cause you to feel. You blame others who make you feel so lousy. Or it's substance abuse, or the fourth option, folks, and have you guessed it? It's suicide. Because if you see no answers, and you're walking through life worthless, thinking that everybody despises you, and you can't stand your feelings that you are of no worth and the lowest of the low, you just complain, feel, I'm done, I can't go on with this anymore. And so I'm never down on a person who is using substance abuse, or for that matter any person who is going through these kinds of problems. Never down on them, because they are feeling, they are aware of the desperate feeling inside themselves, and by others' personal testimonials they find out that they're right in feeling what they're feeling. That the human state is a state of depression, whether or not they know it or not, because the person does not feel their godliness and does not feel their lovability, and are desperately seeking to feel worth by finding it, and until it is found, we are haunted by moments, problems of depression that are so painful for us to see it. So you need to support the person who is feeling this with personal testimonials that point out to the one who is looking for help that there is help, simply by that person's living from the understanding, the calmness, the realization that all is well, it is recoverable, and it's just that you didn't know it existed. And what happens is that God is going to help you because you're looking for a problem, and that's what God needed, and to be able to take you in to work with this along with others who have these kinds of issues, and become a support group for yourself. It has a positive element, dear hearts, this idea of so-called addiction. It is a positive element that the person is feeling something that's right. They have hit the human problem, and it is unbearable, and it makes them turn to any which way to try to kill these feelings off. And they just need to know the answer, what it is. And then, once it's delivered to them, they themselves have to get to the point now of accepting it. And they will still try desperately to kill off feelings until they are so wiped out, they're so hitting bottom, or they're so crashing and burning that they will now be ready in a supportive circumstance to turn because we love them as one with ourself in God, because God made us with oneness and we know where they're coming from, and that in itself enables us to provide support to them. Now, is that helpful? Is that helpful? That they need to hear testimonial to the fact that there are answers, and to be able to see the representation of the answers in the person that is giving it to them, that they can recognize that this isn't only talk, this is action. They're looking at a person who is loving, who understands that everybody's lost. Everybody is lost until they are able to see the sadness and desperation of the human life, and now are able to turn because they see that there are answers. Now, I hope that this is of help, folks. I hope it's a help. Thanks for looking at this, and I wish you well in the issues that you're dealing with, either with yourself or other people. Bye-bye for now.